by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky. I go to war, fight. Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you.
Welcome back to the Professional Stepdad Show. I am your host, Franco Zavala. This is episode 120 of the show. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been a fun and exciting week. Got a lot of cool new things going on with the show, with questions coming in. I'm going to be making a couple more episodes based off the questions that a few stepdads have, so I'm excited for that. If you have a question, if you have an idea, something you want me to create or share on this show, send me an email at contact@theprofessionalstepdad.com, and I will not only reply back to you, but if I feel like it's just really beneficial information that all stepdads need to hear, which, to be perfectly honest with you, is pretty much all questions, I will make an episode about it. I think it's smart to kind of get real world ideas and stories from stepdads who are in the trenches, who are going through this journey, and just maybe they need a push, maybe they just need a little bit of motivation. So that's one of the reasons I highly recommend you just send that question over, and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. Today's episode is going to be about identifying expectations. The reason I'm making this episode today is because there are way too many stepdads out there. Step parents in general, right? But stepdads. There are way too many stepdads out there that assume that things are going to be a certain way when you step into your blended family. You assume that everybody's going to love you and hug you and cherish you and value you and respect you. And that's just not the case. For any stepdad who is, like, let's just say you're in year 5 or above. For any stepdad who's in year 5 or above, you know what I'm talking about. It's that feeling that you get when you're like, oh shit, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought it was. I thought I was just going to step into this family and everybody was going to be like, hooray, John is here. Thanks for saving the day. But that's just not how it is. And I think it's important for every stepdad to understand this, especially for you new stepdads who are about to become stepdads. That doesn't make sense. Especially for you new men who are in a relationship who are about to become stepdads. That's what I mean. You have to identify your expectations. You have to kind of lay out what you feel and what you think may or may not happen within the first few years. Maybe like a list of like goals. That would be good. But identifying expectations, which is, I have to remember that patience is the key no matter what. But I have to remember that it is going to take time for them to respect me. It is going to take time for them to value my presence. It's going to take time for other family members to trust me. I know for me specifically, when I came into my blended family, I'll just paint the picture for you. I've got tattoos, and I was driving an old beat up car, and I pull up to my son's, he would have been turning 1 at the time, but I pull up to my son's birthday party. And at the time I was kind of just getting my feet wet, and nobody on the other side of the family's aisle really knew who I was or had met me. So you can only imagine what they thought or what they were thinking when they saw me step out of this old beat up car with no hubcaps and tattoos. Immediately, judgment, boom, came straight in. And if they only knew what it was going to be like years later, I'm sure that they wouldn't have been thinking that. But after that day, I knew how hard it was going to be. I knew how many minds I would have to change. I knew how much work I was going to have to put in order for, well, to put it bluntly, for everybody to get the fuck off my back. Now, some took longer than others. Some took shorter than others, meaning the time and that I put in with not only each and every one of the family members, because you have to do that. You have to put the time in with the family members that you do with the kids and with your partner. I mean, I know that sounds like tedious, but you have to do that because you got to remember, it's not just mom that is inviting you into her home. Remember, she's got a broken heart. She's got to mend it. There's going to be a lot of trust issues there, but it's also the kids. They were witness to whatever happened between mom and dad before you stepped into the picture. So their vision of what a father should be or a man should be is going to be skewed a little bit, no matter how good your intentions are. Now, should you take that personal? No, don't, because it has nothing to do with you. If you listen to the last episode, you'll remember that I say that this is nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. It is going to take time for them to let down their guard and to trust you. It just is. So by identifying your expectations within the family, let's say you break it down between 2, 4, 6, 8 years, even from year 0, where you're just kind of getting your feet wet, you have to identify these expectations, which is, I can't try too hard. I can't go backwards, meaning like I don't want to try to say yes to anything that the kids say, but then lose my relationship with myself, or don't put any focus on my relationship with my partner. You can't go all in on your partner and then just think that you can't pay any attention to the kids or work on your old issues. There's a process that you have to go through as a stepdad in order to find you're not only yourself, but in order to find that kind of like that sweet spot, which will allow you to kind of progress through your journey in a positive manner, where it feels like you're making strides and you are doing everything necessary. So identifying those expectations is huge. But when you're identifying these expectations, remember this: everything you think is going to happen won't. Everything that you could plan for anything as a new stepdad. You could plan for it all, and you are still going to be hit with some shit on a random Tuesday. The question is, can you handle it? Can you deal with it? How are you going to respond to it? So identifying these expectations, and just right here, I'm going to give you a word: patience. That's what you have to do. Identifying expectations for your stepdad journey has to begin with patience. Understand that it's going to take time. You can dream big, and I'm not telling you don't. I'm not telling you to have this, I want to be the very best stepdad I can be, and I'm going to be there for everyone, and everything's going to be great. There's nothing wrong with expecting that kind of in your head, kind of envisioning it. But identify and be able to break apart what's real and what's a little bit of fantasy, what you can control and what you can't. And right now, in the beginning, year 2, year 4, the only thing you can control is the way you think, how you respond, the work you're doing on yourself. Are you spending too much time trying to solve people's problems? Or are you actually taking the time to get to know who you are so you can let go of who you were in order to become who you want to be, right? So identify your expectations as a stepdad and understand that it is going to be a rough road. It's going to be tough. You're going to have people backstab you and talk shit about you at every turn. The question is, can you focus on your why? Can you hold on to that why? Can you internalize the why so that makes up your DNA, and out of it will come this strong, powerful leader and mentor and father? Can you do that? Yes, you can, stepdad. But first you have to identify these expectations. What you expect to happen, what you know will probably happen, things you can't see. Just identify them all. Identify what you want to do. Envision things. Set goals. Identifying expectations is no different than setting goals. It really isn't. I can set goals as much as I want, and I could start on these goals. But does that mean it's going to go smooth and it's just going to work out the way I wrote it down? Absolutely not. That's not how it works. The key is get started. So identify your expectations of the kind of father, man, leader, and mentor that you want to be. What kind of partner do you want to be? What kind of relationship do you want to have? Identify those. Write them down. Put them on the wall. Share them with a friend. And don't get discouraged when things don't go the way you planned, because mistakes are inevitable. Mistakes are needed. Mistakes help you grow. So identify your expectations, stepdad. And I promise you that you will find peace, and you will find strength, and you will find courage. And sooner or later, like for me with my oldest daughter, sooner or later, out of nowhere, you'll receive a note, or somebody will tell you something where they tell you in their own words how valued, needed, and wanted you actually are. and how valued, needed, and wanted you actually were in the beginning. But they didn't know it yet, or they just didn't have a way to communicate it with you yet. So put in the work, stepdad. I promise you'll be just fine. All right, guys, that is episode 120 of the show. I am so grateful, and I'm so blessed to have each and every one of you stepdads listening to the show, sharing the show. Stepmoms, if you're here listening to the show, sharing the show. Bio moms, bio dads, if you're here listening to the show, share the show. Growing this platform and getting on a bigger stage so that I may affect real change and around the narrative of what it means to be a stepdad in today's world. That is my mission. That is my goal. That is my purpose. And I will not stop until I get close, right? Because I'm identifying my expectations. I know where I want to go, but I know it's going to take work to get there, and I need your help. So again, thank you guys very much for just listening, for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Be well. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Listen, if you know a stepdad who is in need of any of this information, do me a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button and share this episode with them as fast as possible. Did you do it? Okay, you did it. You hit this. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.